told me you got caught up in the tear gas as well. Describe what happened to you.
Tasted a little tear gas. Tasted like fascism.
Any questions?
I see this as an absolute win.
Oh, somebody please, they got the children!
The only way that you can really stop this kind of thing is to arouse public opinion. It's very upsetting. It has a bad moral effect.
Forced adversity.
Ask yourself, what's more terrifying, fear or the frightened?
The facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire.
Bad, B-A-D-D, bothered about Dungeons and Dragons.
Up yours, woke moralists.
Socialism has spread the shadow of human regimentation over most of the nations of the earth.
And they're pushing identity politics with this. They 100% are.
How do you think homosexuals reveal themselves?
And the shadow is encroaching upon our own liberty.
I think there ought to be a law against them. Tonight I'm going to show you why.
Welcome to the FAP. Nancy used to do that for me. Handsy Nancy, I called her. Oh, and by the way.
There's no strategy. I have no strategy.
Are you sure?
So how do homosexuals reveal themselves? I think it's kind of like this. Hello. Hi. That's just, I don't know. In my experience, that's one way. There's many ways, but that's just one. Bob, what do you think?
I think they reveal themselves by walking up saying, hello, I am an actual homosexual.
I'm an actual homosexual, yes. Or you know, there's the I'm here, I'm queer, I'm saying hi. I mean, I'm revealing myself, right? That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
No? Happy Pride, everybody. And Morgan.
Hey.
Morgan's like, Jesus Christ.
No, so like here's a funny thing. Like I had an interaction with someone, God's like Wednesday last week, who was like thought that someone couldn't be gay because they weren't like actively hitting on every guy they saw. And it's just like, do you know how gay people were? Like they just like they're like everybody else, except they're attracted to their same gender. That's it.
Right.
That's the only difference. That's
Was
it.
this person a straight man who tries to fuck every woman he meets?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, they started to lie and say that they were gay, which
no, the person questioning whether someone was gay because they didn't hit on every man they met was that person a straight man who hits on every woman he meets?
No, he was not.
Not projecting. So I mean, I was a bit had a bit of a weird coloration to my expectation of gay people when I was much younger, because you know I grew up in Southeast Texas and stuff, and I had a friend who was like a very country guy. JD was his name, like boots and Pantera and trucks and stuff. And apparently I guess he came out to another friend of ours as gay, like privately, and that friend did not deal with it well, and kind of started telling everybody. And I heard about it and heard that people were like not friends with him anymore. When I called him, I was like, hey man, look, I just want you to know, I don't give a shit about that. Like, you're a cool guy, you know? And he was like, oh, that's awesome. And then we hung out, and he tried to make a move on me. And I was like, oh man, no, I mean, you know, I'm fucking flattered. But then there was like another couple of guys over the course of years that like I would become friends with a gay guy. And I'm just like, wait, are they really like this? And then it turns out, no, I'm just very attractive.
You're just a handsome young man.
Attractive as I once was. They're not all just like trying to bang a hole or whatever. Yeah, but as Bob alluded to, it's usually projection.
Yeah.
And it's weird that, you know, just decouple the whole thing from just being about sex, for fuck's sake. It really
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about who other people are fucking so much.
Truly. Unless they're fucking somebody really hot. I mean, then maybe I don't know. But
yeah.
Don't tell them about it though, you know?
Yeah, don't ask questions. Like, maybe just be chill.
Keep it to yourself.
I have to confess, if someone I know if I know they are fucking someone that I think is really hot, I am tempted to ask for details. I don't. But
you gotta kind of tamp that down a little bit. You learn that over the course of years. But thank you. Lucifer is right. I think that's a big part of it, is like, especially in the area that I'm from, like there's not a lot of you know, straight people who are just willing to be like, I don't even care about that, you're cool. And then also was just a shill hang like I was, and also pretty cute back in the day, you know. And I think it just kind of, they said, you know what, I'm gonna shoot my shot.
Yeah.
And you know,
right?
I was like, oh yeah, I'm fucking flattered, really am. But also I dated a chick several years later who she liked to go to the gay club and dance. And
Sure.
like, she invited me to go. I'm like, sure, I don't care. But I don't dance, you know, and I'm just standing over in the corner by the bar drinking drinks. And I swear I got hit on like 7 times. Just like sometimes one guy would walk away and another one just walk up like there was some line. And I was like, that's my girlfriend dancing right there. Sorry. Good times. No, now nobody will even look at me.
That's not true. I mean, they would, but you hide your face now.
It's true. And Jen looks at me all the time, and I love it, and I love her. So we're all good. Humblest brag. All right. So today we are going to fap about not all of the hot gays that used to hit on me. Not that.
What about the hot gays that still hit on you?
Yes.
Okay.
No. So we're going to talk about, you know, more of the whole thing that popped off yesterday. In case you haven't heard, there was a bit of a maybe a kerfuffle, maybe not. Maybe it's all a dog and pony show.
I would say an attempted kerfuffle is in process.
No. LA burned to the ground. I am now a refugee, y'all.
That's right. So
I am streaming from a remote location.
That looks suspiciously like where you normally stream from.
Right. Yeah. I mean, are you okay though, Bob? Because there's got to be fires just right outside your windows, right?
I mean, I think I may have some smoke inhalation damage, but you know, other than that, I'm okay.
And I relate to this because if you guys recall, 5 years ago, summer 2020, Portland burned to a fucking cinder, and that's where I live. And I had no choice but to sit and just be burned alive along with it.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. They don't even know why the name is still on the map.
How do I have internet?
I'm using advanced necromancy and time travel, actually. If you didn't know that, like when you start HRT, you get like magic powers.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, really, that's why you do it. Okay.
No, I do it for the tits.
You're not supposed to tell the straights, Morgan. That's your secret. No, yeah, it's so fucking stupid. We were just looking at comments on the LAPD, which we'll read that in just a second, so we kind of get a good baseline reality that we can operate from. But the comments under this thing from the post-millennial, of course, which is just a fascist rag, are insane. These people live in a different reality. I don't know how many times we have to say that, but it's just true. So let's check out this here post from the LA Police Department. Bastions of never beaten anybody up unconstitutionally.
Right. Never once like beat up civilians without just cause, you know.
Bob, are you okay? You have a katana sticking out of your back.
Yeah, I was just responding to Sean. Yeah, I'm fine. I have a gift sticking out of my back is what I have. friend of mine who's leaving town for good is unburdening themselves of many of their material possessions, and today they gifted me a replica of Michonne's sword from The Walking Dead.
Sweet.
And that's what's hanging on the back of my chair. Maybe I'll brandish it on camera later.
Brandish that shit, bro. Maybe you should save it for the Battle of Bob's, which maybe it's coming pretty soon.
Battle of Bob's coming soon.
But you should also do it today. All right, so this is LAPD. So, obviously joking, they have a long, storied, many hallmarked fucking history of just being pieces of shit who don't give a fuck about civil rights, and especially when it comes to black people of color, just beat the crap out of them, violate their rights, so on and so forth, right? LAPD, yay.
One of the worst police departments in American history.
And yet, today, demonstrations across the city of Los Angeles remained peaceful, and we commend all those who exercise their First Amendment rights responsibly. The Los Angeles Police Department appreciates the cooperation of organizers, participants, and community partners who helped ensure public safety throughout the day. While today's events concluded without incident, the Los Angeles Police Department remains fully prepared to respond swiftly and appropriately to any potential acts of civil unrest. Our commitment to safeguarding the rights, safety, and well-being of all Angelinos continues day and night. We will maintain a heightened sense of readiness, posture, and remain ready to ensure the continued safety of our communities. So does that seem very alarmist at all? Or no?
Kind of the opposite.
Nope.
These are the cops that were in control of the situation, and presumably they're not going to just not do their job because they want to make Trump look bad or something. I don't, it doesn't. I don't know. But Trump, there you got Trump fucking evoking, apparently incorrectly, like formatting it wrong, the Insurrection Act. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
No, I have not heard about that.
So that he could federalize the National Guard, which is, from what I understand, is not really something you should be able to do. And so the National Guard is supposed to have headed down there. I haven't looked into it today, honestly, because I've been busy doing a bunch of stuff. So, Bob, I don't know if you've caught up, but would you like to?
From what I've seen, I checked a couple of hours ago, so things may have changed. But the National Guard was coming into a part of downtown LA where there have never been any demonstrations about any of this, and were not being deployed to the detention center where all of the protests were happening.
Well, I know that I saw that they went by like the Hall of Justice. Is that right?
The Hall of.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
There is an actual building in LA called the Hall of Justice.
Oh my God!
You wondered why I had that drop, didn't you, Morgan?
I did. I'm just like, what are we doing here with the Super Friends shit? And no, Dane was cooking the whole time.
And anyway, that location is not where the protests were taking place yesterday.
Or today.
So in the last couple of hours, people may have moved around. I haven't checked, but that was what I saw was where they were gathering. And then like Trump talking about how he's already praising the National Guard for bringing peace to the city or something.
So fuck.
Do you know what he's not bringing in the National Guard though?
Interesting.
Paychecks.
Yeah.
The DOD is not going to pay the National Guard for their time. Their deployment is 29 days, which means that they don't have to be paid the deployment wages you normally would be.
But I'd like to point out
their housing isn't going to be covered.
A lot of people these days get their news, their real-time information from these live streams on YouTube, right? I want to look at a few of these, just kind of, superficially anyway. Breaking. This is 12,000 watching now. This is NBC News. National Guard arrives in Los Angeles as ICE protests continue. So, okay, that probably is a factual. I guess that's a factual statement, but I think that based on if you're kind of leaning towards what Trump has been feeding you, you're probably taking something much more inflammatory from that statement, right?
Yeah.
Fox News. Trump slams insurrectionist mobs. Wow, man, he sure doesn't know how to fucking call out an insurrection, doesn't he? Does he?
Well, I mean, Trump knows a lot about insurrections and how to do them.
Right. But he won't call it that whenever it's his. It's like, come on, man, claim your shit. Slams insurrectionist mobs, which just isn't happening, guys. Like there's protesters, yes. There's probably even some fucking clashes with cops here and there, but I have not seen anything remotely anything like what kind of ended up popping off in BLM summer.
I guarantee you, a majority of the residents of Los Angeles have no idea any of this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
It's so
context,
small.
for context of the whole Portland burned down 5 years ago thing, it was literally a 2 block, or I guess maybe 4 square blocks or so around the courthouse where everything was happening for over 100 days, every single night. It all happened in that little contained spot downtown. And the fires that they would show were sometimes just B-roll, meaning fires that they had shot like the first night. There was a fire of a trash can or whatever, and they're showing that close up, and then showing some cops shooting off some flashbangs, and it seems way more dramatic than what it actually is. And people's imaginations extrapolate like, oh, the whole city's fucking, especially people who live out in the fucking, in the boonies who are scared of the city. They see that and they're like, the city's on fire. And it's, that is, by the way, a goal of fascism in every instance, is to demonize city dwellers and the people who live there and their degeneracy. So it really started to kick off an hour ago. They had to push them off the freeway. Who's they?
Oh, yeah. I got a news notification. I didn't open it up, but I saw the headline that protesters were on the 101 freeway blocking it off.
Cool.
Because that is one of the freeway on-ramps that connects to the detention center. Because one of the things that kicked off this protest, this particular round of protest, is that ICE injured and arrested the leader of the local SEIU union, David Huerta. And I believe he is the son, I could be wrong, but I believe he's the son of Dolores Huerta, who is the farm workers union leader right now. She's a very famous, well-known person in like nonviolent protest circles.
Oh, cool.
He could just share the same last name with her. I don't want to presume, but I think he is her son.
Okay. Now that I'm being reminded and feel like an asshole about it, we should take a moment to mention Jonathan Joss, which is definitely not the best way to start Pride Month.
No.
He's if you aren't aware, he's the guy who played John Redcorn in King of the Hill, and apparently recorded his stuff for at least some of the new season that's coming. He was also, I forget the character's name on Parks and Rec, but he's fucking hilarious. He was murdered recently by his neighbor and Jonathan's partner, husband, I forget exactly, said that there were homophobic things being uttered as the incident happened, and previously before that, I think. And that's fucking lame.
And it's not the first time that there's been hate crimes against those two either. So,
didn't the neighbor kill his dogs too?
I haven't looked that deep into it, but I mean, if you think that you read that, you probably did.
It would not surprise me, given everything else I've heard about the situation. But I'm
like, the details were really gruesome, so I don't want to go into them too much.
Yeah,
that's
what I read was pretty horrible. Like, it was like they burned his house down.
Yeah.
Jesus,
and separately killed his dogs and displayed the dogs. So, yeah.
And what for what, right? Like, what do these people get out of it? What do you get out of being a homophobic piece of shit? What does it do to improve your life meaningfully?
You get literally to prove that you don't have these desires.
You get negative fucking humanity is what you get, and you think that's a virtue because you're a cowardly, weak-willed person.
Yeah.
But yeah. So R.I.P. to that guy. I'm gonna be sure to check out some clips of Parks and Rec. I don't know if I'm gonna go back and watch the whole thing again, but I remember laughing my ass off at him and his whole demeanor on that show. But back to the message at hand. So what do you think about this channel? Do you think that they're where I saw it a minute ago? You think they're legit? It was agenda-free TV. You think they're cool?
Oh, I mean, I mean like that.
They're free.
It can't possibly be anything like the People's Democratic Republic of North Korea or.
Right. Sure, I bet they're perfectly honest. Definitely not one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So this is, here we go. This is a good example of like I'm guessing this is not a widespread thing as far as I know. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know. It might be by now. I haven't looked into it.
See.
That depends. Angelinos do this after Lakers games.
whether they win or lose, right? Like,
yes. So it's kind of in the local blood to like burn shit down after
a day, a hard day.
You know, that is one thing on fire. These cops, while on horses they do look like they're kind of a little heightened stress here. They're not actively doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to be
because
any
these
danger.
cops are Angelinos, and they know that Angelinos it's just what we do. We burn shit down after Lakers games or like the Oscars or whatever.
If there's a word that comes before riots, it's going to be LA. You know what I mean? Like everybody knows about the LA riots. There's songs written about it. Sublime has a fucking great song about it. Couple of them.
My point is that the cops know that the best strategy is to just let this, if you'll pardon the phrase, burn itself out.
Right.
And the crowd will disperse after they've blown off their steam or whatever. And you know, the cops are filming everything, and they'll like make arrests later on.
That's exactly what Trump doesn't want, because he knows that the actual cops, look, I'm not trying to praise the motherfuckers or anything, but they're not trying to make their job harder for themselves generally.
Right.
You know, so they're just gonna, like you said, they're gonna just kind of, you know, let it, you know, people are gonna get tuckered out and go home eventually. And they'll pick up some stragglers or some bad actors or whatever. Trump doesn't want it to end at that. Trump wants it to escalate. The administration, the regime is actively trying to force an escalation that can be caught on camera, that can justify in their minds, in their fucking cultist minds, any escalation of force that they choose to do.
Well, I think that's why they've sent such a small number of, you know, National Guard out, is because that, in theory, creates a like, oh, they're outnumbered, and so if something happens, they're going to get overwhelmed, and so we need to do more police brutality, when they don't seem to understand that, like, Los Angeles is a large place with millions of people, and so most people will just go about their lives.
And notice how this is like footage of just one car on fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people here are just standing around like, what the fuck's going on? What's this?
This channel has 58,000 subscribers, or 580,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's probably a car that burns every day in LA, right?
Yeah.
There's probably a car that burns every day in whatever city you're in, just because of the power of large numbers.
Yeah. But notice how none of these people are doing anything.
Right. They're just milling about.
It's not even clear these people are just protesters. It's just a crowd of people watching a thing that's on fire.
This is a marked difference in what's happening here with these protesters compared to what was, I mean, I hate to toot our horn, man, but like these motherfuckers here in Portland had shit down to a strategy in science back in the day. This is just some folks wandering around, which is what it looked like last night when I looked at it, which, you know, much less people, obviously, much fewer people, but there was a bunch of cops standing in a line, and then just like a handful of folks just kind of lazing about, unclear if they're protesters or just looky-loos or whatever. You know, these people are just out here demonstrating their fucking freedom of speech, their First Amendment rights, which, you know, certain people are supposed to be champions of. You don't understand protests, but then again, you have anxiety. I mean, I have anxiety, but like it's worth understanding that protests are in many cases, that is the first and sometimes only, at least at the moment, method for the people to register their that they do not approve of whatever the local or whatever government is doing. Period. Or sometimes, you know, corporations, sometimes intermixed. You know, if there's not protests, then the people that don't agree with what governments or corporations or whatever institution of power is doing, you just have people sitting at home being pissed off, and then those companies, those governments will continue doing, which they probably will anyway for protests. But what it can do is get people's attention who otherwise wouldn't notice it or wouldn't realize that something important is happening, and they'll be like, what the fuck are they protesting about? Like you're doing right now. You don't understand. Well, I'm explaining to you. This is how you communicate oppression. This is how you communicate that there is something unjust, something unideal in some way happening, and it's happening on behalf of institution of power. And yeah, anybody want to add to that probably can do it better.
I think this was why like peaceful protest is actually remarkably effective at causing change, which is why the right works so hard to portray any amount of protest as extremely violent, because they know that will get people to side against the protesters if they think that they're being violent.
If you don't mind, I would like to amend something you just said.
Sure.
I don't like the phrase peaceful protester. I would prefer the phrase non-violent.
Sure.
Because
I just want to point out that I was called a moron by a guy who literally cannot complete a sentence without fucking up 6 times. Go ahead and fuck off to the upside down there.
Anyway, the point of nonviolent protest is to provoke a confrontation, and the point of it is to provoke violence from state power, to expose the hypocrisy and inherent violence of state power to the general public.
Yeah.
So to call them peaceful protesters, I think, is misrepresenting what the goal of the protest is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We should not have to limit ourselves to peaceful protests. That should absolutely be, if possible, as far as we need to go in an ideal circumstance. Ideally, we wouldn't need to protest. The next ideal would be that we would only have to peacefully protest and demonstrate. However, sometimes shit pops off, and like cops get a little jumpy, like they did in 2020. And you had people in cities all over the country and all over the world in some cases just fighting cops, man, because you got to let these motherfuckers know that they work for you. They should, they don't in actuality work for you and me. They work for rich people and their property. But that's you can't just lay down and let these people run roughshod over you, or you kind of don't have a backbone and you don't stand for anything.
Yeah,
that guy's pretty cool. Doing a good pose. Yeah, so there was in 2020, I hate to keep going back to that, but I mean, obviously it's the most recent thing that's kind of going to draw my memory. In 2020, there was literally a guy at the beginning of the demonstrations. I think it was in Minneapolis where they fucking just torched that fucking police station.
So what's funny is that police station, or no, I forget if it was that police station or the Target at Minneapolis that burned down. They found it was an outside agitator who was trying to get
the Target
protesters attacked.
The police station I think they just got that shut down. I think they just agreed to shut it down, and maybe they burned it down too. But like that police station went kaput after that, like operationally. But nonetheless, the Target was burned. And remember, man, if you're fucking caping for some megacorp, or in many cases just a local business, is going to have pretty decent insurance that's going to cover anything that happens that's not under their purview.
Right.
And especially corporations, people that are like caping for Teslas, caping for fucking Target and stuff like that. You are the saddest pieces of shit that I can imagine existing in this world. Just sorry.
Right. If you're like, to the general point, I think if people's criticism, if people watch footage like this and their first criticism is for the protesters,
yes,
you're not expressing concern. You're doing damage control for the state.
Mm-hmm.
You're hoping that that the state's going to spare you and give you some privileges whenever they get this shit all taken care of. There's a lot of that in the comments here. That's why I'm leaving them up for people to see. But yeah, like imagine looking at a group of people who literally have they have no power. They don't have any institutional power, but that's kind of part of the problem, is that they don't have a operational understanding of power dynamics and stuff like that. But just one thing that I see repeatedly that I fucking loathe is like, I was late to work because of protesters, and it's like, wow, man. Wow, imagine the thing that they're protesting and the people that are truly suffering that they're trying to get, attention on. But I'm sorry, man. Sorry you're a few minutes late for work.
I lost a job when I first moved to LA because protesters
Really?
blocked the traffic and I was late to work, so they fired me. And my response was, I looked up the protests, which were at the time, I think, against something going on in Palestine.
Sure.
And my response was, good for them, free Palestine.
Fuck yeah.
I can find another job. So,
Right. Like, yeah, it sucks. But I'm not going to get mad at protesters because other people suck.
Sketchy, I just want to point out, man, that like
and-
ease up on the ease up on Paul. He's a good dude. I think he misunderstood what he was saying there. But nonetheless, appreciate the work.
I think that's a driverless taxi made by Tesla.
Oh, that might be the issue, yeah. So it could have just caught on fire by itself if it's a Tesla.
Yeah. I mean, really,
Those things are notorious for just catching fire.
It's a coin toss.
I'm seeing some posts in chat that the IDF has detained the Freedom Flotilla.
Oh shit!
Along with Greta Thunberg in it.
No, that's a they're. Oh man, they're absolutely determined to create a fucking spectacle.
Yeah,
that will just ignite their fucking cult brains to just own the libs. That's essentially what all of this is, man. Whether you're talking about fucking the Ripaverse selling garbage comics or Trump doing this shit, it's all just own the libs because that's what gets their fucking base fired up.
It's what gets them hard, right? Like that's it. That's all they are now. They don't have the conservative movement in America is not a conservative movement. It's not about anything other than just like getting their rocks off by hurting the people they want hurt.
Lisa, how many people have died? Can you tell us? How many people have are there just cops being carried out on stretchers, or are they just kind of hanging out amongst the protesters? Calm your tits, dude. Like you are maybe you're just like really easily fucking frightened by fires or something, but like it's you're kind of stupid.
The clowns are ice. If you want the clowns out, they're literally wearing masks.
Yeah, they're just good Christians, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Israel does the nastiest shit when the US is distracted. Oh no.
That's
at least the IDF hasn't killed them.
Yeah, yet.
I think yet. Anyway, yet. They haven't killed the Freedom Flotilla yet. I think the presence of Greta Thunberg on the crew is deterring them from that, because like the international propaganda value of killing a young white woman is not really going to play well for them.
No.
But I am not holding my breath. So
yeah,
I'll be back momentarily, guys.
Okay. Yeah, I think that the IDF is, well, Israel in general, the country of Israel, sort of how to explain? My brain is not formulating this quite correctly. The whiteness of Jewish people is contextual when it comes to the opinion of Christian Europeans and Americans. And if they kill a European white woman, that will fuel anti-Semitic elements, even if they don't like Greta Thunberg. Her demographics will be enough to inflame those tensions.
Yeah.
And maybe the IDF wants that. Who knows? But I think that would continue to erode their international support. And it's already pretty well eroded outside of the U.S. They don't really have much in the way of friends these days.
Oh, Lisa.
So no, what? Okay, so no laws in this country at all. Only you can break the laws, right, moron?
That is correct. Unjust laws have no moral weight. An unjust law is no law at all. That goes all the way back to St. Augustine. Almost everything Trump is doing in Los Angeles is illegal under the Constitution as it is written, a plain-faced reading of it. So, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I gotta. Bye-bye.
You banned the wrong person.
Uh-oh. How do I
ban
unban?
Adam Cornish?
I did not mean to do that shit. I'm so sorry, Adam. Hold on. It'll StreamYard jumped on me. Give me a second. We got you, fam.
Apologies to Adam.
Yes, big apologies.
We'll get that sorted out in a second. Sometimes when you're trying to select a comment, the chat jumps on you at the last second and you end up hitting the wrong person.
Can I unhide user on this channel? Okay.
Was it
Adam, you should be back. Let us know.
Okay.
I think I pulled it off.
Anyway.
Yeah, if you can't make your points without being insulting. Yeah, Adam, you got the ban hammer on accident. Lisa pushed you in the way. She used your body as a shield. So we restored you to life.
But notice how the dishonest framing of that whole question was. They were saying, so we should have no laws in this country? No one was saying that.
No one was right. No one was saying that. And she knows that.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the Freedom Flotilla.
The Freedom Flotilla.
Is it dishonesty, or is it just like a pants shitting existential terror that they live with every moment of every day? You know, I wonder that.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Like, but I mean, think about the fact that I don't understand people that go to other people's streams where they're clearly saying things, they're clearly on the other side of the fence from you, especially at this point in history. And you start going, oh, that's not a peaceful protest. What? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that to me is just, I don't know, fucking coping hard with an insecurity about your own position.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you go do that? Anyway, let's move on.
Yep. So yeah, no, the how do you realize? Oh my god! Wait, Sean, do you have a source for that? Like, I would not be surprised, because I know that the Israeli regime, like the reason Hamas is in power in Palestine, in quotes, it has to do with the being supported by the Israeli state.
Yeah, I saw that reported, I think, by Kyle Kalinske a couple days ago. I forget where he was citing it, but there was a scandal in the Israeli press a few years ago of Netanyahu delivering literal suitcases of money.
Secular Talk,
yeah.
I looked for that Secular Talk video.
Because Israel wanted to build up Hamas as an adversary to scuttle the peace talks.
Right.
And so, like, part of the scandal was Netanyahu got caught delivering money, literal, like I said, literal suitcases of cash
to
Hamas. And nothing came of it. But he's really shady and dirty, and that's why he's if he's not in power in Israel, he's probably going to end up in jail, because he's got a huge amount of criminal convictions against him.
He was out of power and used these events to worm his way back into power before he was thrown in jail forever for corruption and stuff. So, like, his party was out of power for a couple of years, kind of like we had with the Trump administration, where we had the Biden administration for a few years, but like the Biden administration, the Israeli coalition government didn't do enough to resist the corruption that was already in place and already entrenched, and so it just came roaring back.
Yeah. I mean, one of the guys in the Israeli cabinet right now, I believe it's Ben Gvir, is literally a convicted terrorist under Israeli law. He was convicted of terrorism under Israeli law. And he's now a part of the government and saying things like, there are no innocents in Gaza. They are all Hamas. We're going to wipe every last one of them out.
Right.
Good Christ.
That's been the position of the Israeli state for a while. Oh, you found it?
Yeah, I have it. It's from the Secular Talk. It's both Kyle and his mom, girlfriend, wife, crystal ball.
What's up, y'all? Got some breaking news here for you. And to me, it's actually not all that surprising, but it is a huge deal because it's verified. Turns out that Israel has been arming and funding ISIS jihadists for the purpose of messing with Hamas in the sense that these people fight Hamas.
So, just right off the bat, until I confirm it for myself, this is just Kyle Kalinske saying something. As far as I know, he doesn't say things that are just this overtly a specific acclaim and end up being untrue. But my first thought is, saying this, even if it is confirmed fact, it's going to just be the new fucking, oh, you're a fucking anti-Semite.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because that's their go-to defense, because, I mean, let's be real, anti-Semitism is still a problem. It's just that, unfortunately, neo-Nazis and fascists can use that to cover for other fascists who just happen to be Jewish.
Yeah.
But also purposefully stealing the aid that's supposed to go to Palestinians in Gaza.
Yeah. So Netanyahu has basically admitted to this at this point. Haaretz had a big report about it, but they've been arming this this clan in Gaza, the leader of which is a criminal who's known as sort of like well-connected whatever within Gaza, and he's been in and out of prisons there for his activities. And they have affiliated themselves with like Salafi terrorists such as ISIS.
Yeah, so he was a warlord and he was involved in drug dealing. And then they create this group. They swear allegiance to Salafi jihadism.
Yeah.
They also have a house. I don't know if you saw this. They have a house that's like right on the border with Israel near Gaza. And they like operate out of there.
Yeah, and so the way that this surfaced is the former defense minister, Avigdor Lieberman, he accused Netanyahu of funding and supporting and arming these ISIS-linked militants. And the Netanyahu people, like Netanyahu is basically not denying it and saying, well, we're doing whatever we can to defeat Hamas. So here are some of the details from Mohammed Shahada. He says, Yasser Abu Shabab, Israel's warlord in Gaza, is a 30-year-old criminal, was imprisoned until October 7th on charges of possessing large quantities of narcotics, I learned from multiple sources. Now expanded his activities from Rafah to Khan Yunis, where he's staying in a villa belonging to Yasser Abu Jargun, surrounded by 40 to 50 armed men close to Israel's borders, the sources added. His two key operatives are Ghassan Diani and Saddam Zakar, who meet people on his behalf and recruit new members of the Gang of 300 militants. Gang is currently doing 5 things. 1. Loot UN aid under IDF protection, hoard it in warehouses, and sell some on the black market.
Okay,
Jesus Christ.
This is a lot of fucking information that we'll need to kind of break down on the next show, maybe once we look into it more. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. It's kind of ironic, I think, that the best journalism about what's going on in Gaza is coming from the Israeli press.
Yeah.
And then this kid and his mom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, honestly, if American journalists just reprinted journalism from the Israeli newspapers word for word and didn't change anything at all, they would be accused of anti-Semitism.
Yeah, it's wild.
Let me throw a brain buster at you guys. So this came out. This video is from 2 days ago. Do you think there's any consideration about that news coming out that went into, hey, let's go ahead and just do this National Guard bullshit in LA?
No. I think there's no connection.
I mean, not to say that that's the reason, but I mean, they're buddies,
They are buddies, but there's a majority of the American public has no idea what's going on in Israel and Gaza and doesn't care.
Right.
So there's no connection between these two events.
More people are aware of it now than ever before, and that's a good thing.
Yes,
and more the people of the people that are aware of it, it's more than half do not approve of what the Israeli government is up to.
Mm-hmm.
That being genocide.
Yeah, and that's what's going on. Don't call it anything else.
So I mean, the ones that are even care enough to look into it, but I mean, honestly, I think most Christians, like your average Christians, if they're not political, activists or whatever, they just don't care as long as they're winning or they're perceived or feel like they're winning. That they'll buddy up to the Mormons, they'll buddy up to whoever the fuck they have to, as long as they feel or they're being told by people that they trust that they are in a superior position.
Well, and remember, conflict, we talked about this on October 7th, or October 8th that year, but as this was happening, Christian nationalists, that series of philosophies within Christianity, believe that a war in the Middle East is necessary for the resurrection and return of Christ to earth.
Yeah, and this is why I will always have like a 3% smidge of respect for Bill Maher, no matter how fucking awful he is now. Because the first time I really understood this was in his movie Religulous, when he literally goes to Megiddo is the location, which in some version of it means Armageddon, because that's literally the prophesied spot where the last war for heaven and souls and all that bullshit. Bob could probably explain it better than I can. It's supposed to take place, and Jesus is gonna fucking give us all reach arounds or whatever, as long as you preach them. And I just I remember learning this and thinking, what? And then there's two opposing religions that consider this spot sacred, these spots, like this area, and how is that supposed to fucking work its way out except for violence? I don't know, and here we are. I wish there was a way. I hope we can find a way. Fuck, man.
Yeah, I would say the underlying problem is imperialism, colonialism, exacerbating.
But it was imperialism that happened decades ago.
Yeah,
centuries.
I'm just saying, if you removed I think if you removed all religion from that equation and kept all the other power relations exactly the same, we would be in exactly the same boat.
I disagree. I don't think that a lot of this shit would be as. I mean, it's obviously there's no way to know for sure. It's kind of just a really silly mind game to play to think about it. But I just have a strong suspicion that it would be different. Not to say that it would be peaceful, not to say everybody be holding hands, but it just
the character of the conflict would be different. But when you have imperial powers like the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War, and then the United States and China and Russia now all competing for control of the oil wealth of the Middle East, and Israel is functioning as basically a colonial outpost of the United States there, it doesn't matter what people's religious beliefs are in that context. The power relations over that resource conflict are going to create warfare and conflict no matter what.
So CJH, I mean, if you would have caught me about 10, 15 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, man, me too. I've come to understand the perspectives of religious people, which took effort and wanting to understand it at a more nuanced level than this. But I don't think that, for one thing, I don't think everybody that is religious proclaims to hear voices or, whatever. There's different ways that people mean when they talk about, God spoke to them or whatever. And it can be anything. I used to do it for a long time, oh, this song lyric is for me, kind of thing. It's the same general thing. People do that on small levels all the time. Just little ways that we connect to the chance nature of things.
Yeah. The what is the mental health guidebook? The
DSM-5.
Yeah.
The DSM-5 does not characterize religious belief as a mental illness. Therefore, you should not do so either.
Right.
Because that has policy implications. If you think about that, if you're running a state, or like an authoritarian state of some kind, and you have a belief that religious people are all mentally deluded, you should lock them up for their own good.
Yeah, I mean, CJH, I remember, if I remember correctly, CJH, I believe you've said before openly that you have some mental health struggles, and so I can understand feeling like you have some foot in the door to be able to speak on something like that. But at the same time, it's just we can only know our own perspectives fully, and in many cases, not even that. So they're making a lot of assumptions based on your perspective of what religion is and isn't, and other people. There's some pretty amazing fucking religious people that you talk to them. They got none of this ill will towards anybody. They're actually talking about things the way that Jesus spoke of things. They got those beatitudes going and whatnot. And
there's a content creator, I cannot remember her channel name, but she's an atheist content creator, and she's also a psychologist. And she has a great video from an atheist perspective on why religion is not a mental illness and should not be treated as, or religious belief is not a religious mental illness, and an atheist activist should not refer to it as one because it's so dehumanizing.
I will say this though. I will say that this could be considered a mental illness, and that's being a Tim Pool fan. Surreal and cringe fucking moments, man.
So wild.
Will be called the new.
Oh, he's lathering up his tongue for some fucking boot sloppy fucking deep throat in here, man. It's crazy.
Okay.
Spicer had some shame.
That's true.
You know, like you thinking back on it,
true.
like holy shit, he was forcing himself through a lot of that shit, and I'm sure he was relieved to be out of there, and then get on fucking Dancing with the Stars.
Right. I could believe Sean Spicer never wants to think about this again, and he'll be haunted for the rest of his life.
Hopefully.
I don't think this woman would be.
No. Like, ladies, come on, just go out on Tuesdays and get drunk. It all balances out in the end. Jeez.
Yes, our attempt to lure you into a situation where you risk date rape certainly makes up for your wage.
They're doing it out of goodwill, right? They're doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. The bars and stuff. That clip, because that's like YouTuber, burning Tim Pool level fucking drop, and they went ahead and just did it, and I'm like, fuck yes, dude.
Yeah, like how much he has no self-awareness if he dropped that clip. That's a clip from his own show.
Yeah,
he dropped on his own channel. How does he not know?
I'm talking about Jordan Klepper being, Comedy Central actual TV production level, and that they went that fucking fierce with a clip about Tim Pool. That we see that in basically anything you watch critical of Tim Pool, but I just wouldn't. I don't know.
You wouldn't expect it from this. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, they went there.
Good for them.
Yeah, fine. So new media's.
I mean, look, she kind of deserves it. But
right, yeah, like I'm not gonna cry for Nancy Pelosi's death.
That's like the one thing that I'm like, one little clap from me on that one, guy.
Dropping a deuce on Nancy Pelosi's desk is the least bad thing that happened that day.
It's true. It's objective.
One thing we should not be focusing on.
And it's not like she had to clean it up. You know what I mean? So
no.
Level of just like burns. I don't know. I hope Tim Pool gets to a burn unit in time.
I hope he gets some aloe vera on that.
I think
everywhere.
The description, the phrase "divorced ghost hunter" is going to enter my lexicon now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if it's better than fucking Joe Pesci's Home Alone stunt double, though. That's
pretty good.
That's very specific to Tim Pool, but divorced ghost hunter could be applied to a lot more people than just him.
Yeah,
6 minutes and 43 seconds, just absolutely fucking buried that little boy.
Oh, it's beautiful. It really is something beautiful.
I mean, it's not often that we take a moment to look at something from like Comedy Central or whatever, but that was just a well executed little piece of media. Because and honestly, how can it not be? There's so much obvious shit pointing to what a dishonest actor this motherfucker is, and always has been. I remember when I first got on YouTube, and I would I think I included him in one of my first videos where I kind of listed other right wingers, right? And people were like, Tim Pool's not a right wing. He's
right.
A affected liberal. I'm like, I was astonished, legit astonished that anybody would say that. And I'm like, do you believe that's true? How can you, you go look at his channel? It's fucking clear as day. And yeah, it's a little bit blackpilling. But not completely, because we got hope around this motherfucker. Yeah. I mean,
it's a low bar.
Somebody said that the rumor is Tim Pool's got a baby now, and fucking God help that child.
It's not a rumor. Tim Pool is claiming he has a baby.
Oh.
Okay, who did it?
Who did he pay?
I don't know. He has not revealed that information. I would be shocked if it was on IVF though.
He paid somebody and did a turkey baster type thing, I bet.
My favorite thing about Tim Pool is that Tim Pool's dad has his own YouTube channel called Tim Pool's Dad.
What the fuck?
He criticizes Tim Pool, and sometimes he calls into the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. And
his brother has fucking talked open shit on him before, but then I found out they maybe worked together closely at some point or more recently, and maybe that was just kind of, I don't know. But Tim Pool did not graduate high school.
Yeah, the story is that Tim Pool and his brother were working together back in the day around the time of the Occupy movement.
Yeah.
Doing some kind of journalism, and Tim Pool did some kind of fuckery to steal all of that from his brother and start his own media empire. That's the broad outline of the story I've heard. But Tim Pool's dad often calls into the Majority Report with Sam Cedar and talks shit about Tim Pool. So it's pretty funny.
That makes me so happy.
What else do we have tonight?
Well, we have the stream title on Actual Fandom says Trump overdoses on Hitler particles, anti-Christian bias explained.
I think that's the no longer the title on my channel. It just on the FAPcast, I think. But maybe I'll double check.
Well, the link I'm in doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the streamer's title on StreamYard. But yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is Trump invokes Insurrection Act over a few dozen shill protesters. With this just honestly just magnificent thumbnail, if I do say so myself. Let me pull it up.
We await the thumbnail live. Look at that thumbnail. It's kind of shitty, Dane. I'm not gonna lie. Like that bottom left corner is really shitty.
It is pretty shitty.
Some of your shittiest work, if I do say so myself.
I agree. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm basically doing an AI with this, and this is just an image I found. It's very good and funny. I added some googly eyes, as I'm wont to do.
You are a big fan?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. But anyway, I think like before Los Angeles blew up and burned to the ground, we had been discussing the it's hard to believe this was less than a week ago, but the anti-Christian bias scare moral panic thing is what we in the Discord were discussing making the FAPcast about, and then all of this happened.
Right.
And it's hard to believe that
it does deserve focus, I think. And we didn't really focus on it the other time, I think, that we kind of talked about it. So maybe we need to do a little bit more prep in between shows and kind of each of us take a segment of the topic and kind of prepare.
Yeah.
We owe our fine viewers and listeners
all 49 of you
some amount of effort.
A little bit. A smidge.
Some. I mean, I was helping burn LA to the ground yesterday, so you
were doing your part on the ground.
I risked my own bodily safety to provide content, so I think I've done my bit for the.
That's all you got to do, man. Just make content, you know.
And now I'm living in exile on the road.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Morgan, you were not on for the Peter David thing. I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
I don't really have anything to add, to be honest.
Okay. Did you have a favorite Peter David comic? Or?
Not off the top of my head. I feel bad.
X Factor?
Did Peter David ever write any Star Wars novels, or did he only do Star Trek?
He did Star Trek.
I think he did Star Trek, and I was never a Star Trek novel person. Yeah, I'm just kind of a bad person, I guess. I don't know.
You're pretty terrible. I gotta say.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
no, we love you.
Thank you.
One of the great human beings of all time.
I'm definitely one of the human beings of all time.
You're one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, somebody asked for this, so here it is.
They have it worse than I do. I literally just said
I know.
That
was the
You're
facade.
just
that
bro.
was the facade to not take away
Facade?
From the yes, it was like
admitting outright, saying straight up, bro.
And your Jesse Smollett hoax. You made up this whole story about white supremacists coming to your house and saying, "Oh, the mixed couple," and throwing racist pamphlets at you, and you made up a whole Jesse Smollett thing. You know. I've been noticing that's the takeaway from the struggle of the black man.
It seems like we're blending between
No, you're a racist prick. Here's my hour-long documentary about the black struggle in Ferguson.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. Oh great, $100,000 budget. James Baldwin interviews with people on the ground to talk about what they've been through, and you have the nerve to come up to me and tell me my experiences don't matter when I'm fighting the fight.
Stop screaming, bitch! Stop screaming.
Damn.
Talk to me like I'm because I'm not that guy.
Yeah, you are. You are. You actually are, dude. You are that guy.
I'm not that guy to fucking scream at, bitch. You want to get fucked up? Huh?
All right.
What the fuck you screaming at, bitch?
Calm down. Gotta cut it, man.
You think you
can? I'm not that guy. You don't disrespect me, bitch.
What did you do to me? Did you disrespect me?
Nah, you start raising your voice to me like I'm some sucker.
Did you laugh at me?
Bitch. Yeah, laugh.
Did you disrespect me? I was nice to you, bro. I was being nice.
You start raising your voice to me like I'm your son, bitch.
You raised your voice to me, bro. I said I respected you.
You wouldn't shut the
I
fuck up with
appreciated
that
you.
raising your voice shit.
I stopped when you told me to. You said lower your voice, so I lowered my voice.
I want to see just see the moment here if we can see exactly what Tim's initial reaction was or not. No, it doesn't really show it. Huh?
Talk to me like because I'm not that guy.
Yeah, you are.
Normal.
You are. You actually are, dude. Yeah. You are that guy.
Talk about I'm not that guy to fucking scream at, bitch. You want to get fucked up? Huh?
All right.
Screaming at, bitch.
Let's calm down.
Cut it, man.
You think you can?
I'm not that guy. You don't disrespect me, bitch.
Yeah, I wanted to see if he kind of jumped back in his seat or what. But
he probably did. But you know, he's got that gun and that pistol behind him, so he's safe.
Dude, he's got like security.
The gun and the pistol. I mean, the gun and the sword.
You know, I learned that Joe Rogan's comedy mothership bullshit in Austin, that they actually have like a SEAL team guys, or former SEAL guys that work security there to like keep people from getting back into the green room where all the fucking comedy legends are.
The cocaine, where the cocaine is. You can just say the cocaine.
The boner pills, the steroids, I don't know.
Yeah.
The elk beef, I don't know. I'm not sure.
The elk beef.
So yeah, what I remember happening, Tim misunderstood the phrase "I'm not that guy." Like he didn't understand that in certain people's minds, certain ways of speaking and living, that I'm not that guy is a very specific thing of like you're fucking up by speaking to me or doing this to me. Like this is the line.
Yeah.
You're crossing it.
Yeah.
And Tim was just like kind of took it a little bit more casual. He's like, "No, you are that guy," and this dude just fucking exploded.
Yeah.
Tim.
This is what you call a lack of situational awareness. If you're talking to a guy from the streets and he says, "I'm not that guy," and you don't understand that you are about to be in a fight,
I don't know what to do for you.
You know, more traditional way of saying it might be your mouth is writing checks your ass can't cash.
Yep.
That's
Tim's lucky the guy didn't like punch him.
That's not honestly. A cat fight. That is like, yeah, that guy could have rolled on Tim.
Yeah.
I will say that
that is not to justify violence against Tim Pool, but you need to be aware of the situation you're in.
Let's fuck around and find out.
I think we need to take kind of just a vibe break real quick and just kind of get some good vibes going. So with that in mind,
that's a good vibe.
Yes,
Joe
Bob.
Gay.
It is
I'm
fucking
here.
gay as shit, and we love it.
It is Pride Month after all.
It is, truly is. Yeah, I mean this whole month needs to be a little gayer. I'm declaring it now. Look, the rest of the month is gonna be gayer around here. Okay.
Sorry,
in fact, Joe Bob has gay on him just from watching this stream, and it will never wash off.
You heard it. You typed the word gay. You were spoken to by a gay person, at least one. You are gay now, man. That's how it works.
Yep, sorry, it's infectious.
In 5 years, it'll never wash off. It'll never wash off, and in 5 years, it will sprout, and Joe Bob will be full gay.
You're gonna be going to bed at night, and you're just be like, "I need some dick in my mouth, man." It's crazy. Good luck. You're gonna have fun. Honestly. Anyways, the image is from I don't have no idea. Probably one of the goddamn a Caravan of Courage or something, which I noticed is on Disney Plus as well as the other one. Yeah, the both of them are.
Hey, to those movies' credit, they're probably still better than The Rise of Skywalker.
True. Yes, that's exactly what that means.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If you enjoyed the original End of Return of the Jedi song, that means that you're gay. Sorry.
If you like Star Wars, you're gay. I'm sorry to break this to all of you.
Star Wars is so gay.
I'm maybe on the internet too much. So when I remembered that June is also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, which is another thing that we will try to incorporate into reminding and discussing throughout the month. But when I first, it's like 2 days ago, I was like, oh yeah, it is, isn't it? And I was like, oh man, I bet there's fucking some chuds somewhere that are going to be like, we can't even get our own mental health month because we've got to share it with the gays, as if like you can only do one thing in a month. If you can only, I mean, I guess if you can only hold one thought in your head for an entire month, like some chuds seem to, I feel for you, but otherwise it's not a big deal.
Not really.
But then I fucking saw a post on Eric Debunk's channel, or a community post, and there's a fucking chud that literally says it in there, man, in their comments. I was like, oh my God, I'm on the internet too much.
Poor Eric gets just the worst fucking people.
Truly.
Like, I feel like that guy's out there doing his best.
Like this one.
All right, should we do a dramatic reading of this?
Yeah. So Eric says, I'm speechless. This is about Ms. Marvel.
She is a teenage character, so there is nothing wrong with making, wait for it, porn of her. Once more, shows like Euphoria show sexualized situations with teenage characters. Why are you against, wait for it, porn being made of a drawn character like Miss Marvel, but you have no issue with her fighting as a child soldier? Why do you support child soldiers, Eric?
Please stand by while we check this person's hard drive.
Yeah. Look, can we get whatever agent is assigned to watching my streams, please?
Yeah.
Do something useful with the time here.
I like to talk to the federal agent who hides in my walls, Jeremy. This is a job for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Ted. It's Morgan. Yeah. Go ahead and check this guy out for us. Okay, thanks.
So the more you think about it, though, the more fucked up it is, because he's making such an argument of it. It's like it almost seems like, you can kind of, oh, well, she is doing, she's not a child soldier. She literally goes out on her own accord against the wills in some recent storylines against the government's laws to fight of her own volition. She's not a child soldier in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you can make that case for some of the X-Men maybe, but not her. So he's literally being wrong as fuck about comics in order to make this point, which makes it even worse. We got him.
What?
We got him.
Lolicons, ladies and gentlemen, lolicons.
There they are.
Now, these are the same people who come to Eric's channel and other queer creators' channels and accuse them of grooming children.
Yeah, same people.
And then they turn around and say this with their whole chest.
There's this reminds me of something. I have to pull it up, but it's another channel. So please hold your call. It is important to us. All right, here it is. Let me open the image in a new tab so I can blow it up. Let me present. All right, this is oh, it's gonna be stuck in my head. All right, here. I have to remove the other. Oh no, remove that one. There we go. Here's your political chart. That guy is right about here. He's right about there.
Accurate.
Yikes.
Very accurate.
Politics, ladies and gentlemen, it's simpler than you think.
And to be clear, the TV show Euphoria features actors who are not teenagers.
Right. Yes.
And the stories are about teenagers being sexual with other teenagers.
And it's also kind of it's not glorified as much as it's kind of a bit of both kind of thing. It's like, yeah, the kids are clearly having fun, but it shows very clear and direct consequences for the reckless behavior in their lives.
Yeah.
It's not just irresponsibly like, hey kids, let's do drugs and fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no, but somebody's gonna clip that. Goddamn it.
I've already done it, Dane. It's too late.
Well, these are people, they watched Euphoria just for Sydney Sweeney, and that's it.
Probably.
That's all they remember about the show is Sydney Sweeney. And they did to her what they're doing to, in their mind, what they're doing to Miss Marvel, which is they
She's
took a teenage character and sexualized her and said it's okay because I saw it in a story and she's a child soldier.
I think she's getting her fucking revenge with this bathwater thing. She's like, she's not stupid. She's like, you know what? Fuck these chuds. I'm gonna sell them my bathwater. It's probably not even really her bathwater.
Is she doing the bathwater thing? No, she's not the first person to do the bathwater.
No, but it's notable because she is like a legit actor.
Sure.
She's not like a YouTuber. No offense to us.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit.
And she's about to put out a boxing movie for which she got really ripped, and I don't think her chud fans are going to like her
She
body.
is not traditionally attractive in it at all, but she's still hot.
They're going to start transvestigating her like poor Miss Khalif.
Jesus Christ.
Who they're still on about, by the way. I don't know if they've brought her back into the Amani Khalif. They've brought her back, for another year of harassment.
Can we just?
They will never let it go.
No.
Would it be a genocide if we just got rid of chuds?
I mean, I've discussed my plan for them before on this show, because they like Elon Musk. Elon wants to go to Mars. They can all go to Mars together, and we'll call it astroturfing.
Fuck yeah!
We have the technology to get a ship to Mars right now. I'm sure they can handle it from there. They cannot.
No, they can't. They can't do that. Imagine thinking that like it would be easier to travel with a bunch of people and resources to a dead, barren planet that is like not feasible to reach within a human being's lifetime, and that's easier than just like stop fucking putting garbage into the fucking atmosphere.
I think Mars is only 18 months away at current speeds.
Is that it?
Yeah, which is not an insignificant amount of time.
Yeah. There's a lot can go wrong in 18 months is the problem.
Yeah, well, 18 months in space will wreck the human body.
It'll destroy your body.
We haven't figured out how to keep people just in orbit around Earth in Earth's gravitational field without losing significant bone density for like 3 months.
You know what though? So we're having a baby. Sorry, I just
everybody dies, man. Look, everybody
dies. That's fine. It's okay.
But I would like all of these, I can do it better. We don't need regulations, super chuds to just get on a spaceship and go to Mars. I'm sure y'all can figure it out for yourselves. You can pull you up by your space bootstraps and die of space cancer, probably.
Yeah. So I made a fun edit of this thing, but I want to show the original thing too, because as Bob pointed out, after I did my edit, I accidentally clipped a very important part of this moment that happened on the news, and I just want to show this thing, if you guys don't mind. Here we go.
It's coming.
It's coming. Sorry, I have to kind of get it to the spot. Gotta get it right in the spot there. Oh yeah, she likes it right
in the front hole. Yeah,
right there, right in the front hole. All right, so this is from some newscast yesterday or whatever.
You told me you got caught up in the tear gas as well. Describe what happened to you.
Oh, just tasted a little tear gas. Tasted like fascism.
You told me you got caught up in the tear gas as well. Describe what happened to you.
Oh, just tasted a little tear gas. Tasted like fascism.
Boom. That's the shot right there. Right down the barrel of the camera, buddy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe it. It was a total accident that I clipped that out. I added another layer and something, and I just completely missed it. I was kind of slapping it together before the stream, so I apologize.
Yeah,
You told me you got caught up in the tear gas as well. Describe what happened to you.
Tasted a little tear gas. Tasted like fascism.
Any questions?
So many questions. Oh, Adam, you're still here. We can see ya.
There he is.
You're not banned again. I didn't.
Yes.
Hear you.
Yes, you did.
This is all done with mirrors. You were banned hours ago, and you just don't know it yet.
And let's break that clip down for a second. And this guy's demeanor, what is it? Is it as casual, just like tastes like he doesn't even give a fuck that it, it's fascism. Yeah, I got tear gas. What of it? Is that it?
I think I just want, before we analyze it, I want to point out that I saw this clip live.
Oh,
and right after he said that, they cut the feed.
Oh, wow.
Because she was about to ask another question, and then she got some kind of message in her earbud, and they ended the interview.
Shut up.
Because I think he lured them. Like, he probably was like, hey, oh my God, I got tear gassed. Oh my God. It like sold them some kind of story to get on camera. So they thought they were going to get their life, get a nice like drama bait. Something about a guy who cried or something like that. And then he pulls this on them like a fucking Chad.
What a unit.
And so now you have to remember, Los Angeles is a city full of actors.
Yep.
And aspiring actors and other showbiz
looking
people.
for their moment, waiting for their moment.
Right. And all of them know how to work the media. That is their part of their job description. So if nothing else, if this protest movement goes on, we're going to get incredible memes out of all of this. And this was the first one of the year, I think.
Yep. Oh man, I'm sorry. That's by then I felt like one of the zombies watching the show.
I cannot believe that franchise is still going.
Wow, is it?
Still shambling along. Although I've heard from several people that some of these spin-offs, where now that they've kind of like made the stories, more truncated, and they're not just expanding as much as they possibly can per season, that they are telling some better stories. I don't know. Then I was like, what? They're still just zombies, whatever. And then somebody told me that they have super zombies now, and that kind of piqued my interest a little bit.
Super
zombies.
Okay.
Like apparently they're fast zombies now or something. There's some.
I'm going back. You know what? I'm too woke for this, so I'm gonna have to go
back.
Well,
speaking of Walking Dead, I had a friend gift me this today.
Oh,
a replica of Sean's sword from The Walking Dead.
Nice.
It's one of only 5,000 in circulation.
Nice.
And yeah, look at this. The blade is not sharp, but I'm going to fix that. Yeah, it's you can't see it with my camera because my camera sucks, but it's got some cool engraving on it right there.
I see it.
Oh, yeah, see it. Yeah.
See that? Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And on the other side, on here somewhere is Michonne's signature. There it is. Maybe you can see that.
That
barely
pretty cool. Yeah, holy shit.
Are you gonna get it sharpened, man?
I will sharpen it myself.
Because you're that guy. You are of the old ways.
And there's the Triskelion symbol on the hilt as well.
Nice. You got a nice unit, Travis says.
And I'm not even a Walking Dead fan.
Sometimes just cool, right? Like
it's cool to just you have a sword. It's cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Swords are cool. Yes.
I'm not a Care Bears fan, but my family gifted me a little Care Bear. Because of, let's see what it says. They said it described me. This is Harmony Bear. Let me get some light on this so I can read it. She sings, she acts, and she plays every instrument you can imagine. Harmony Bear is a natural leader who is all about encouraging folks to do their best, especially through music. So, yeah, sure, I'll take it.
That's adorable.
Yeah, if I get gifts from franchises I don't particularly like, but they come from somebody that I care about, and it's an expression of their love for me. So I cherish that gift, even if I never watched the show.
Absolutely, that's awesome, dude.
In fucking deed.
That's rad.
Trying to think of what else I have. I do have a sticker here that says "Drink coffee, read books, punch Nazis." Got that from Books with Pictures, which was voted the best comic book shop in the world, like last year or the year before. It is super gay here in Portland, and it's also just super accessible to anybody. It almost caters more to not comic book fans, like the traditional comic book fan, than it does anybody else. Or it caters to everybody else more than the traditional, what you think of as a comics fan. And I love about it I love that I go in there and I'm like, I don't know where to go here. This isn't necessarily, oh, there's a few Marvel things back in the corner there. Okay. But like otherwise it's a lot of manga, it's a lot of kids stuff, it's a lot of LGBT stuff. It's like an excellent little bookstore, locally owned, and yeah, they're great.
That's awesome.
One of the ones that I called back whenever, I called a few bookstores to debunk Eric July's whole thing about Diamond Distribution and their bankruptcy having anything to do with anything other than Diamond. And I'd asked them, like, I recorded the calls. I was like, was there anything that's going to affect your sales? No, not really.
Right.
Couple of small indie publishers, right? That honestly, not a lot of people buy enough of them to really move the needle. So,
which is a shame.
But yeah, now I remember the whole thing with that was that he never once mentioned that Marvel and DC no longer distribute through Diamond and haven't for a few years now.
Haven't for a while now, yeah. I mean, I think Marvel's been, or not Marvel, DC's been like 5 years since they broke away from Diamond. And Diamond has done some like, they shoved a bunch of their debt onto Alliance, which is their game distribution company they bought out, to try and like cheat some of their bankruptcy debt. So they've been involved with some shitty shit.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Now J. Kung 56.
Mm-hmm.
Dem dares fighting words.
Oh boy.
This was a gift from somebody who cared about me. If you look over my shoulder, you will see that the rest of my sword, which consists of one that you can see, but I have more than one, are all Western and European swords. So I'm not the last samurai. I would never presume to try to be a samurai. So
Bob's not a weeb.
I feel like we kind of have hit a moment here
that
I'm going to seize on, and I'm going to go ahead and just say,
all right, we balling.
Ultimate Morgan.
Oh yeah, I have caught up, I think.
The most recent one would be the Revelations of Doom.
Yeah, okay, then I have. Yes, I have. Holy shit. That ended.
And yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just like it's fucked up, and it's like, oh, that's messed up. Doom, read, but also that makes sense that you would do that, read/Doom.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre how well written this guy as Reed as Doom is.
Yeah. The Reed Doom thing is crazy. It's wild.
It really shouldn't work as well as it does, but
no,
it's working for me.
It really works. I don't know how else to put it. Like,
what was it, number 13? I think it was.
Holy shit!
No, 12.
I like how the ending. Okay, spoilers for the ending, I guess, because I think that's what hit me the hardest.
True.
So Janet's the mole.
Mm-hmm.
So we had just a few issues ago where like the issue plays with us that it's going to kill Janet, like she was killed in the original Ultimates universe. And so like it tricks us into like, oh cool, she's alive, and it's like, oh no, she's alive.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, so you remember when we covered this? This was a pretty fucking crazy moment when all of them died.
Right.
Wait, no, they didn't. Tony got pretty fucked up, and She-Hulk kind of got a hand mangled, but that's when you find out that no, this did happen.
This did, yeah.
It's just that somebody's been kind of doing some shenanigans with the time travel, and so
loves doing time travel, like because even in the 616, like Dr. Doom has like one of the few useful time machines that don't just like fucking fuck shit up.
Yep. By the way, just a kind of sidebar. There is a series of one shots that are being done that have like or take two characters from Marvel that shouldn't belong together at all and put them together for one issue. And the only one I've read so far is Dr. Doom and Rocket Raccoon. I cannot strongly enough suggest that you fucking read this thing. It is phenomenal.
Yeah?
Yeah, like Doom calls to Rocket because he's the only creature that he knows of that might be able to help him in a very specific task.
Shut up.
Then they proceed to spend the next half of the issue, or the first half of the issue rather, just working on a very specific project and kind of ribbing each other and becoming friends in a way. And then the second half is then them going on this mind-bending adventure, which is the goal of the project, and then coming to a pretty fucking heavy conclusion. And then it's fucking excellent. It's what comics are great. How great comics can be, just like a random two characters, not random. I think they're chosen pretty specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just wouldn't think
first you're like, what?
Yeah.
And that reminds me of how my interest in the upcoming DC Marvel crossover kind of went off the charts when I found out that one of them is going to, maybe not the first one, but the one they're advertising is Batman and Deadpool.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's gonna be insane. Like,
honestly, what they had to have done is each company said, okay, who's our top selling character that just was gonna, and then they smash them together. It's not as crazy as it might seem, but I think it's gonna be fun, because it's exactly what you want with a Deadpool team up, is a character that's no nonsense. And who's fucking more no nonsense than Batman? Like, it's gonna be great. Hopefully, not trying to shill stuff before it happens here, but I hope that it's good.
I hope that it's good. Yeah.
That just makes me excited to see what other team ups or I guess maybe not necessarily team ups, but pair ups they're going to have.
Yeah.
Because they've done some pretty crazy ones in the past. Like back in the first wave of DC Marvel crossovers, they did Batman versus the Hulk.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this volume, this omnibus of just a random assortment of different times that they've put characters together, not including the big, JLA Avengers and Marvel vs. DC stuff in the 90s, but everything prior to that, basically. And there's some stuff I didn't know existed, like Hal Jordan Green Lantern and the Silver Surfer and Galactus is in there, and pretty wild.
Superman and Fantastic Four. Did you see that one?
I'm not sure if I have that.
Oh, that's cool.
Becomes a Herald of Galactus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah, Sean in the chat, exactly. If Batman and Deadpool do not have a run-in with Slade Wilson,
oh yeah,
they're doing something wrong.
They have fucked up.
Doom, everybody's like, Doom, you son of a bitch, you doing this stuff, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing this because here's why. And it's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty selfless right there. That's like the perfect blending of Doom and Reed right there.
It really is.
Sentiment. Like, I'll make this world perfect, even if I don't get to be in it.
Right. I still think the Dr. Doom in the blue costume to really bring that synthesis of Reed and Doom together just visually works so well.
Indeed. So, wow, man. So it's basically, as you can call it, it's a sliding time scale or, a sliding timeline. It basically exists in a way that, so that just easy example is Frank Castle, the Punisher. His original origin was that he was a Vietnam veteran. As time progressed, throughout the comics into the 90s and then 2000s in particular, they just started saying he's an Afghanistan or war vet instead of Vietnam.
I think both.
Same thing with Tony Stark, right? Is that originally he was selling weapons in Vietnam, and then now he was selling weapons in Afghanistan.
I don't know if it was Vietnam, but it was definitely that region.
I think both companies have. I know DC has. I'm not as much into Marvel as y'all are, but I think both have done stories where they try to explain why these characters why nobody ages, and none of the stories they come up with are never any good.
Right. So DC has
it's just something people should ignore.
DC has done some heavy-handed shit to try to make it work, and they mostly end up backtracking and just going, I don't think about it.
Which is the correct answer.
It is.
Yeah, really. If you can't do a simple thing that isn't super noticeable, like the whole, making updating what war somebody was in or whatever, then just kind of leave it alone and move on.
You get the gist.
Yep. Marvel has a sliding time scale. DC doesn't. Generally, what they've done is just the different crisis events are what they typically use editorially to let's try and shuffle this stuff around and make it make some sense, right? So like
in every crisis to varying degrees, the universe gets punched in the head a little bit, and its time scale gets compressed.
Yeah.
So
like
the main reason.
Oh, the latest DC explanation I'm aware of is that the universe keeps the multiverse keeps rebooting every few decades with Superman as kind of an anchor being.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea of Superman energy comes from in the absolute story, because there's Darkseid energy and there's Superman energy.
And
that are creating universes all around them.
Made more from Darkseid energy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The New 52 Batman shit was like, even though they didn't change the direction or anything about the comic itself because of the changes of just the whole canon behind everything, you had the most irresponsible Batman ever, who just like was burning through Robins like underwear.
Right. It's crazy.
Because everything was supposed to have happened within a 5-year period. So the reason that a lot of this stuff is the way it is because DC in particular, Marvel has done it a little bit, but not nearly as much as DC did throughout the 20th century. But anytime another, like a smaller comic book company would shut down, DC would like buy it up, snatching up whatever characters they got. That's where, Shazam, originally Captain Marvel, that was from Charleston? No.
Fawcett.
Fawcett Comics. So they bought up Fawcett Comics. And
Charleston
now they have
was like Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm. And then, or just honestly, that's my favorite one. Superboy, that was fucking fun. I don't know. Like Superboy Prime being the representation of the real world Superman that like is pissed off because he's not respected or acknowledged and he just becomes OP is fucking fun.
When I read Final Crisis in my like early 20s, I was like, this is the dumbest shit. And then when I reread it when I was like 30, I'm like, I fucking love this.
He's a chud. He's an anti-fan.
Yes.
That's what he is. He's mad that like things didn't go the way that he thought they should go, and he's gonna fucking shit on the whole universe because of it. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah. And so like the latest crisis event in DC was the Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they undid Crisis on Infinite Earths. So now all of those worlds and all of those stories are back. And
back out.
They've done this weird thing where even though the characters on Earth Prime or Earth, I don't know what Earth they're all on right now, but they all remember all of those things as if it happened to them personally, even though they're in different universes. So they've created a narrative reason to have any of those old stories come back in the current timeline.
Right. Because everyone remembers a little bit of everything.
Yeah. It's weird.
Like
comics are weird. That's the only answer you really should accept.
Comics are weird. I wish I had the drop that Movie Bob does.
Because I remember after Final Crisis, it was like 2 people remembered the pre-crisis timeline, and one of them was Psycho Pirate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Psycho.
And then in the New 52, it turned out that the Superman from the pre-Flashpoint universe was still around, and so was the Lois Lane and Jonathan Kent, and they were doing things secretly behind the scenes while the New 52 Superman was doing stuff. And then the New 52 Superman died, and his energy was redistributed to other people around the world. And then like they were merged, like New 52 Lois Lane and Superman were merged with original. It got all messed up.
It got all comicsy.
Yeah.
I want to point out that so something like the Sentry, if you haven't read his origin, that's Marvel flexing on DC in a way, because they're like, you guys can't get your timeline straight. We're so fucking chill with ours. We're going to introduce this whole crazy retcon concept that fucks up everything, and it's going to be fine. No big deal.
I think the original Sentry origin story was the only one I really enjoyed. Was the only story I've enjoyed.
I did read
the story that he's always been there, and everyone just forgot him.
Yeah.
Well, it was a intentional thing by Reed and him to make the entire world forget he existed. He was basically Superman of Marvel Universe. He was the hero, and but because it was, you find out eventually he's equal opposite thing with his power being so great and so he's so good. There is also the void, the evil side of him, that will exert the same amount of power and influence every time he does something good. And so like there's literally later on in the admittedly not as good later stories of his stuff, there is kind of a cool explanation of like kind of similar to what they did with the Eternals recently, which was awesome how they did that. But like where he literally saves, as the Sentry, he saves like a plane full of like 200 something people over across the world, and then like the next day in Vegas or something like that, something else happens, that exact same number of people die because the void caused it. And that's just, it literally balances out that way, and it's pretty tragic and fucked up, you know what I mean? But yeah. What else did I've been checking out here? Incursion started off okay, you know, we'll see where it goes. I don't love the art in that one.
I haven't read it yet. I feel like we're too soon into the new Ultimates timeline to start doing crossovers.
Yeah, I mean,
ignoring it.
At least they're not like kind of, at least with the first issue, they're not overdoing it.
Yeah.
But, so let's see. Somebody said, oh yeah, I disagree, man. I think the Sentry was very fucking well used. I think that to use him at all, you have to do it in a clever way to acknowledge and pay homage to his comics roots, but also you don't want to go all the way with this comics shit because it would just be a mess. And I think that they may, you know, especially spoiler alert for Thunderbolts, New Avengers, especially in that post-credit scene, seeing that he's part of the team. He doesn't really do anything because he can't, or he shouldn't, you know what I mean? But like that made me fucking happy that like they beat the quote unquote bad guy, but really it was just about giving him some hugs and shit.
Right. They hugged it
also
out.
They're hiding their power level with the Sentry because they're going to use him in the Avengers movies.
Yes.
He's going to get some awesome scenes.
Yeah, because it's good to use him as this like, yeah, bro, just hang out. Like, we love you, bro. We'll take care of you. Because at some point he's gonna go, well, not gonna take care of you, and he's gonna do the Sentry thing and fuck everything up.
Yeah. And I was confused by that comment because I was like, wait a minute, Sentry is like the but I think he's distinguishing Sentry from Bob.
Bob, yeah.
Because that character drives the plot of the movie.
Honestly, that fucking that one fight scene with all of them versus Sentry was enough for me. I was like, this is excellent. Like, it really showcases everything about the character, how goddamn powerful he is, but also how kind of like unsure of what's going on and what he wants to do Bob is, you know, because he's not actually killing anybody.
Oh, Sean wasn't talking about the movie. I think he's talking about the New Avengers comics.
Oh, yeah, I agree to a degree on that. Okay.
I haven't read the comic, so I don't know.
I love the way he was introduced. I'll say that. The whole like having him hiding out in a cave because he thinks he killed his wife. Cap and Iron Man show up and they're like, hey man, so we were trying to find anything about the existence of you, and the closest we found is this comic book writer Paul Jenkins who created you in comics. And then Paul Jenkins just like, I don't know what's going on, and then his wife comes in and it's like, what the fuck is happening? But yeah, after that they did, you know, it's hard to know what to do with him, I think, and I think the way that they ended up doing him in recent years in comics, there's a whole Reddit I was looking at about it. People are mad. I think people expect a little bit too much from the character, but also I see where from some frustration is of how they would just bring him out to use him for a quick event moment or something like that, and then he would die again or whatever, and then eventually he was just dissipated into nothingness. But then most recently there was a mini series which honestly wasn't that great, that had 5 different people that gained bits of his power, and one of them ended up being a bad one, and he killed almost all of the other ones except for one. But now the one that's left has all the basically the psyche, the spirits of the others in her mind, and she can communicate with them and work together to use their power together or whatever. And it's just the kind of character that was never meant to be a ongoing, lasting character. When you really just read the origin, it should have, honestly, if it wasn't for capitalism, just stopped after that story.
Yeah, or it's like the less you use the Sentry, the better that he is.
Yeah,
and I think it would be something that like a great like in a what if story, or like you're visiting a different Earth, right? Like that's a great time to bust out the Sentry because you can just kind of go wild.
You can just stop at Owen Likes Comics did a great video, and that's true.
Whatever the video was, it was great.
Here's where they're doing. They're actually seem to be, unless they take it back at the end. Ms. Marvel's going to be tied into the origins of the Giant Size X-Men.
Whoa, really? I have not read that yet.
She has been time traveling. In this issue, she goes time traveling to the original Krakoa thing, and then at the end of it, flashes forward to Dark Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, but what's interesting is that Cyclops in that period knows who she is,
right?
Because he's got the memories of young Cyclops when they were on a team together. So it's fucking, I love that kind of shit that they pay that much attention to it.
Like, as much as I hated the like time displaced X-Men,
yes,
after like the first couple of issues, that Cyclops built up a friendship with her, and then like in the past recognizes her, is a good use of that bad story.
Yep. And that's, honestly, that's one of the reasons that chuds make me mad talking about comics, because even some of the worst, crappiest things that comics have done in the past, there's enough time has passed and enough fucking brilliant creators have come along and said, yeah, but what if I kind of blossom something out of that little shit seed into something beautiful, right? And you have something that originally, like, the cynical nature of Jason Todd's death, right? It's like, oh man, he wasn't a very good Robin. Nobody liked him. And then they just did a fucking phone hotline to decide if he dies. And okay, fine, get that out of the way. But then decades later, he comes back as a Red Hood. It's a pretty good character. He holds Batman to account. He makes, he fucking always lets Batman know where he fucks up, and that's pretty great.
I think just like think of all like the goofy like Silver Age shit that was like created as a laugh that like Grant Morrison and subsequent writers on Batman have like drawn on and made them really compelling stories.
Yeah.
I think that's why we have Damian Wayne.
So you said you don't like they made her a mutant. Okay. But look, it's not like everybody's like, they're going to make her powers the same as they did in the MCU. That's exactly true. In this issue, it happens in this issue. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They finally did it.
They're right there.
That's cool.
So she still does the embiggening, but now it's like hard light powers. And then just like I suspected, it's not a big deal. It's fine. It's actually more visually interesting. Cool. Good for her.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say too. Like, I find her powers in the MCU more visually interesting and more unique than in the comics. Because
in the comics, she's just kind of another Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic, yeah,
right.
Especially the Batman of Zur and Ra.
Yeah. Well, okay. So like up to a point, because when Zur-En-Op took over the robot, I was kind of done.
Failsafe?
Yeah. When Zur-En-Op became Failsafe, I was just like I liked Failsafe as a concept before it got to that point, but when Zur-En-Op uploaded itself into the Failsafe robot, and now like it's cloning Bruce Wayne and doing all this shit, I'm just like, fuck off.
Did you get to the part where Bruce got sent to another world where there was no Batman and shit? You read all that to the end? So like with all of the Batman throughout the multiverse, I love that shit.
That was so cool.
Yeah,
so dumb,
awesome.
but so cool.
He literally, Adam West gives him shark repellent, and then the last place he goes, there's a fucking like space sharks flying around. It's so good.
Yep. Yeah, it really like, but that's fine. Like I didn't like a Batman thing. Oh well, whatever.
How dare you? But
yeah,
Gale praise. What? Gale
yes.
I know. I'm trying to song here. Dark Artery is fucking awesome.
I need to read it. I took off to do a bunch of housework this week. So, the last couple of days. So I've been busy with
this. Will be make note, guys. This is the moment when these outlier characters made themselves just like distinct, and they will be popular in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if they become like MCU popular pretty quick.
Damn.
If they introduce them, that is. But like, they're fucking awesome. They're very distinct, interesting. Some of the most interesting new mutant characters introduced, I don't know, since
I don't know, it's been
a long time.
I mean, the problem is with like even in the aftermath of like Decimation, we haven't really had the first mutants that like were born after Hope restarted the X gene, but then we haven't had like a really good crop of new mutants all at once like we have with this and with Exceptional X-Men. Though I like this book better than Exceptional X-Men. Because why do we need Mr. Sinister again? Please stop, for the love of God.
I know that everybody needs a giant-sized man thing in their life.
They do.
And you get that. So like
that's gay.
So this place that the Gambit has brought them to in New Orleans has a lot more history than anybody let on. This house. And these kids have been called to a certain place not too far from the property. It goes back in time and shows you this lady named Henrietta. I think it's in like the 30s or so, clearly specific time period. And she's just like a proper Southern lady who's moving, to New Orleans or whatever, and dealing with some stuff. Turns out she's a mutant.
Nice.
But yeah, then you go back to the caverns below Haven House. Oh, so it's under the house. That's right. That's the Dark Artery. And then you get this fucking page where if you want to know who these characters are, here it is. You got Valentine Correa, Ransom. I take energy, pretty much any energy, and use it in my cells, mostly my fists. The harder I get hit, the harder I hit back. Cool power.
Yes.
Hotoro, Death Dream. I change my state from living to dead and back at will. I dream the future. I make the spirits of the dead do my bidding.
I think Death Dream is my favorite of the two next to Calico. Like, I think those are the two I like the most.
Calico gains a level of fucking intrigue in this one. Then it's like, oh shit. Jitter, Sophia Young. She has this thing. For 1 minute, she can be the best in the world at any skill, any talent. Doesn't last, but I'm a champion while it does. Becca Constance, Simon Pinette, Calico. I have special bond with my horse, Ember. I can give us powers whenever I imagine. He's my friend. And this creates a problem. So they're telling this to Man Thing, who, if you know Fear, he'll fucking burn your ass, and you can't lie to him.
Nope.
He'll know. It's in order to cross this thing, and so he won't let her pass.
Oh.
You have to tell him the truth.
What truth? Fuck.
I don't want to be here. I don't like this. I want to go back.
Oh no, girl.
What are you hiding? My horse Ember, my real horse, he died in the fire. My only friend, he died. I don't know what that thing outside is.
Holy shit.
The horse she's been fucking riding this whole time. It's like she doesn't even know what it is.
That's a that character concept is very Mercedes Lackey. I don't know if you've ever read the fantasy series The Heralds of Valdemar, but it's all about girls and their magical horses that are not actually horses. So that's pretty cool.
That's
a pretty cool translation of that concept into a superheroes setting.
And I fucking love Death Dream because like I knew I don't have any feelings, but I know what they are.
Right. I knew it would make her sad. Yeah. He's such an interesting character because he's just an alien perspective to everything because he's not alive except when he is.
Mm-hmm. Life and death, just they're completely not foreign concepts, but he understands them in ways that literally nobody else can. Well,
right.
Except maybe every X-Man possibly, but yeah.
Okay. What comic is this? I'm sold on these characters.
This is Uncanny X-Men.
This is Uncanny X-Men.
And then,
of the like post Rise from the Ashes books, this is
the best.
Best, far and away. It's almost unfair to the other ones.
I mean, you got Remy, who got woken up in the middle of the night by, remember the first issue, the dragon that he took the other Eye of Agamotto from.
Yep.
And he's supposed to be able to hold it for a year, but this dragon came a calling with a warning. Took him to the Savage Land and
in his boxer shorts because he's Remy.
And explained to him that, look, man, if you keep this thing, you're gonna become crazy and a cannibal.
Oh yeah, fun.
He's like, you got to surrender that eye. He's like, no, I think I'm gonna keep her for now. So yeah, and then, somebody noticed that Remy was out at night
with the dragon. Which
just
means...
so fucking cool, man. Like rogue fighting a dragon, and it's all so gracefully done that it makes sense. It's, I don't know. Gail Simone is a fucking, I feel like she's never truly been given a chance to shine until now.
Somehow she's both never been given a chance to shine, but like everything I've read of her, I just absolutely adore.
Yeah, it's always at least very solid, and usually very entertaining and often funny. This shit though is like, it's layered, it's deep. It's character rich. It's complex. It's adding lore while introducing new. It's so fucking good.
I think Rogue and Gambit's relationship in this is like it rivals Superman and Lois.
Yeah,
for like the strength of their relationship and just like how well it's handled.
And look, you guys know I'm a Wolverine fucking dipshit. He's almost never in at least these several issues of the Dark Artery story. He shows up like at the end. He's like,
hey,
let's go. Hey, I got my claws. What are you doing? It's not focused on him. It doesn't need to be.
No. It uses Wolverine really well.
There's Henrietta, what she's like in her mutant form.
Danger Zone.
So yeah, all this lore, man, is so fucking good. Basically, the Dark Artery is a place where Henrietta has been guarding over this realm that I'm trying to remember what it is. People that have, I don't think I can explain it off the top of my head. It's a kind of like a limbo for people's souls that have killed mutants, I think. And she kind of guards over it, and she's ready for someone else to guard over it. Death Dream believes it's his destiny to do so. He's like, look, man, I don't belong with you people. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
The others are like, we're not letting you go in there by yourself, becoming a testament to their bond and stuff. And they're like, no, we're doing it together. But in order to pass through the Dark Artery, you must submit some of yourself to this darkness that will kind of like, get its hooks in you a little bit. Which also means costume upgrades, at least temporary ones, and they're fucking awesome.
So I'm gonna pull this one up while you're scrolling. Adam asks, has anyone read Absolute Martian Manhunter? I adore that book. I read the first issue. It is really good and really trippy, and I've been putting off the second issue just because I'm like, I need to be ready for that level of like 60s sci-fi.
I have not read it.
Fuckery. It's really good, but it's very
I've fallen behind on my comic reading because I've been reading novels lately. So
yeah,
I've not read that one yet.
So much in.
I'm confident that once I start, I will enjoy it. But it's just, I don't know. It's not that it's off-putting. It's just like that's not the vibe based on what I'm seeing on the cover that I'm ready to dive into yet. I know at some point, probably once there's 6 or 7 or 8 issues out, I'll be like, all right, let's do this Martian Manhunter shit.
I think that's my take on Martian Manhunter and Absolute Green Lantern is like, I'm probably gonna wait for a trade and just like get that all at once because he's sort of like a slow burn story that like I want to see how it plays
That's what I do too.
Where like I try to keep up with Batman, Absolute Batman, and Absolute Superman, and a bunch of the X-Men stuff. Badly lately, but I've just been busy with work since like the middle of March.
Yeah, and I tend to like you. I prefer reading like complete stories rather than installments.
Yeah.
So I tend to like let lapse behind a couple of months on comic reading and then wait for trade releases so I can read entire arcs and entire runs in one sitting.
Yeah.
Although I do check out a lot of first issues.
In recent years, they've done some excellent work on these two characters and taking them from being two separate, broken, oh no, I can't have anything happy in my life, to like actually letting them heal and come together and have honestly just a really good relationship.
Happy, healthy relationship. It's just
to the point where now they're essentially they're like the spiritual and the spirit and the heart of the X-Men.
Right.
More so than Cyclops, really.
Well, it's one of those things that, like, for so long, like Jean and Cyclops were like the couple of the X-Men, but like when you think about it, she spends most of her time dead, and he's kind of a dick. Like, I like where Cyclops has been the last few years. I like where he is right now. But like, he's not a well person throughout his run, and hasn't really had that like strong, healthy family thing that Rogue and Gambit have.
I just want to point out how our boys and girls are looking right here.
Whoa!
This is their Dark Artery looks. So that's Rogue right there in front.
Damn.
So they get to do some cool stuff. I'm looking forward to the final part 4. So Gateway to an Underworld of Unspeakable Evil has taken one of the outliers, and it will take the Uncanny X-Men to bring them back, if they can survive the corruption process needed to enter. Plus, the secret of the Endling at last.
Dun dun dun. So yeah, I will say I agree with Anarchy Hamster here. I'm mad they got rid of the throuple of Scott, Logan, and Jean during the Krakoan era. Yeah, me too.
Look at this shit. Put them in some black, some leather. You got
so edgy.
So edgy, but so cool.
It's so 2000s Foxman. What?
It is.
No,
it
I'm
is
kidding.
Foxman. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Well, the problem is they let Wolverine have his shirt off, so that's a little different.
Look at Jubilation over here, fucking hot.
Oh wow, yeah, she's blowing off.
Even Nightcrawler, he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm fucking man of God. I'm gonna jump into this darkness to save my people.
Yeah,
love it.
He'll be fine because he's not like he's just like this is not the first pool of crazy I've dove in.
Fucking Death Dream. Where's the line? Go team.
And the team is all of the dead people he can command.
Can't help it. Love that kid, Ransom. Like these characters are so quickly becoming so defined and excellent. Calico, get to safety. You get to safety. I love you.
Wow.
What?
The little heart.
Gay shit.
That's
Love
adorable. Oh my god. I know what I'm doing when we get off the stream. I have some X-Men to catch up on. So let's see.
Yeah, you really do. Sorry to spoil so much, but you know
what? It's got me.
Yeah. I don't need to check out the comic myself now. I'll just sit here and read along with you.
There you
yeah,
go.
I mean, especially if you want to, touch of the man thing.
Happy Pride.
It is Pride Month.
Other than
and
that,
it's a giant size man thing.
I would say Daredevil Cold Day in Hell's only on issue 2, and it's a very expensive comic for some reason.
Yeah.
It's only 3 issues total, but each one is like $7.
I'll say like $8 an issue, aren't they? Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm gonna pull this one up because I think it's
Sure.
Who do you all think could take over for Wolverine once Hugh Jackman decides to hang up the claws? I hope I don't know who it is. Like I hope it's someone I've never heard of.
I'd like
I hope it's an unknown.
The perfect unknown would be ideal in my opinion.
Yeah, even a very good unknown.
Although I think the plan is to have Daphne Keane be the default Wolverine of the MCU for a while.
That is
after Secret Wars and stuff.
Yeah, I would that would be great too because she's great in the role. And I like that character a lot.
Yeah. I'm keeping my eye on what they're doing with the X-Men because they're obviously, for obvious reasons, they're keeping it close to the chest what their casting plans are and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious that after the next Avengers movies, they're going to do a soft reset of the MCU and start focusing on the X-Men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you know anything about Secret Wars, like the comic book from the 2015 version, this is going to be a soft reset.
And if you know anything about like capitalism and what's popular and has been historically popular at Marvel, they're fucking licking their chops and they're going to make sure they get it right.
Yeah, that was my point. That's what the point is leading up to. So it's kind of a gamble to make Daphne Keane the default Wolverine after that, because I think a lot of people are going to want to see a proper Wolverine, Logan Wolverine.
But if she's there, he's out there somewhere.
Right.
That's the
you
thing.
know that the Fox version of Wolverine is out there somewhere.
Not necessarily.
Unless they replace her with a variant or something.
She could be literally the same actress and it be a different guy plays Logan. That doesn't go against what they've established so far.
That's true.
I think you could even, if you wanted to go crazy, because we've seen the casting for the first Secret Wars movie, or for what is it, Doomsday, whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
You could introduce her brother, and then for a while in the comics, he and her were both Wolverine, and Logan was dead.
I mean, her brother. You mean like the one from the alternate timeline? Oh no, you're talking about Dakin. Sorry.
I'm talking about the Helverine.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'd like to see. All I really know is that I'm fine with him having her and introducing her. It won't bother me at all if she's just on the X-Men or whatever.
Yeah.
I would have confidence that they're going to get to the Logan thing, and I want them to take their time with that.
Yeah.
I want there to be fucking post-credit reveals where all you hear is the snit or something. You know what I mean? Like things like that. That's
just like a bunch of guys getting tossed around and then just snick.
Has everyone here seen Cap 4? Because there's an Easter egg in there.
I finally did see it. Yes.
I have not.
You haven't watched it?
Spoiler. I literally don't care. Spoiler.
Okay. Away. During the first act scene where President Ross is giving the presentation about finding adamantium and stuff, one of the displays they show when he mentions the potential for military applications is Wolverine skeleton.
Sure.
Oh, I did see that.
Like an X-ray of Wolverine skeleton. So that's obviously, it could just be a throwaway Easter egg, but they've already established adamantium, and they gave us a visual hint that there is some version of Wolverine out there, at least in a lab somewhere.
Right.
Or at least the Weapon X project is at work.
One last thing I want to point to before I get the hell out of here is this. First of all, what is it? Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly are everywhere, and they're a writing duo who everything I've read from them is fucking excellent. I don't know how they seem to have come out of nowhere, but they haven't actually, because I started seeing them in Valiant stuff from several years ago. But they've done this with some other people, but they Alien, Black, White, and Blood. And I don't typically love these kinds of things. They're a little bit gimmicky, you know, like Wolverine, Black, White, and Blood. But when I first kind of looked at this and opened it up, just the first page, I think it is, of art fucking blew me away. Not that one. Let me see. So here's some covers. Look at this shit.
Huh.
Wow.
So this is
everything is black, white, and red okay.
So this is actually this is the story that takes place in chapters throughout the whole trade. There are many stories in between it, as in like MINI stories, but also several. But this main one that comes back to over and over again is about this group of socialists in space who are trying to get to a world where they can establish their socialist utopia. They've got, this is the android that basically runs the whole operation,
which will go insane because it's an alien story.
Yeah, kind of, but in a way you're like, oh, I get it. So it goes through how like all the different regions of this giant thing that there's Rayon Gargarin, where we fuel and fix, votes to retrieve. Rayon Comrade, where we sleep and dream, votes to retrieve. Rayon Fullhorn, where we tend to the future, votes to retrieve. So these are all the Rayon marks. Different sections of this peaceful utopia. Which obviously does not stay peaceful for very long or utopian whenever they open this door. They're like, oh, there's some living thing in here. We must save it. Oh, you don't. Socialists. No. And then it gets fucking awesome. And just look at this art, dude. It's phenomenal.
That is great.
That's pretty cool.
If you are an Alien fan, I cannot suggest enough that you check this shit out.
Well, the noir color scheme fits
very well
the Alien universe very, very well. I know this is tangential to the Alien universe, but have all of us watched Predator: Killer of Killers? It's out on Hulu now.
It is literally my tomorrow night.
It is good.
Oh yeah, I've got court tomorrow morning.
Oh,
you guys remember that guy that was beating his dogs and flashed his gun at me?
I do. Yeah.
This is the continued adventures of. So I did the grand jury hearing months ago.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of forgot about it. I didn't know what was going to happen, but apparently charges were filed for him. I don't see any charges about the gun waving, but specifically animal abuse. And then I get a subpoena, and he has chosen apparently to go to court, take it to court, as in to fight it rather than not fight it and just get whatever they would have given him.
Right.
And it's crazy because we literally have him on video admitting to beating the dogs and saying that he does it because that's what they need. Like, I got it on video, and they have that video.
They have the video.
We have at least, I don't know, 5-6 neighbor witnesses that have all seen him doing it at different points. Jeez. I don't understand what he's thinking, but maybe he's got some ace in his hole. I don't know.
Get something. I don't
but
know.
he update. He does not have the dogs anymore. I believe he was forced to, give them up.
That's something.
The law, unfortunately, is not that the person who calls you out for hurting your dogs gets to keep them. That would be great because they're two beautiful husky puppies.
Oh,
but
but you don't like for the dog safety. You don't want them next door to that asshole.
True. I mean, I don't want to be next door to the asshole, but he's still here apparently.
True.
So yeah, you see, it goes into another little story here, and each one kind of resolves itself pretty quickly.
They introduced green now.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So like this is the third story at this point. And that ends. Then we go back to this one. So it's basically at the beginning of each issue, you kind of revisit this ongoing one. And man, I just love the art in this shit. So good.
It's pretty cool.
So basically they decide that they have to awaken what many of them didn't even know existed on their ship, is like basically a Marine contingent that is in cryo sleep. And most of them didn't know existed. They're like, what? We have violent people? And they're like, well, we don't know how to do violence, and we need to do violence to save this shit. So let's wake up these violent people.
Have you noticed which universe you're in yet? Like,
and it's gonna go great for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
So
when you share a reality with Wayland Yutani, like, you better clench.
So they
Speaking of
become
which,
very pro violence, and they make this guy their leader, the head of the Marines.
Oh no.
Yeah. Speaking of what?
Bob?
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of which, it looks to me like the Alien Earth series, the main character is going to be an android, if I'm reading the trailer correctly.
Nice.
That's cool.
Kind of like isn't Prey that too? Or I'm
What?
sorry,
No.
Badlands?
Oh no, the trailer I saw for Predator Badlands, they're following a Predator. The Predator is the main character, and there's an android character in it.
Okay, that's what it is.
But it looks like Alien Earth, the lead actress, at least in the latest trailer that I saw.
When's that
is
show drop?
the character is an android. What?
I don't know.
When does that start? That show?
I don't know. We should find out.
Let me check.
Okay. And then I'm
It's
gonna
soon.
get out of here.
It's very soon.
August
I don't know if
12th.
you guys are. Damn, that's far away. I gotta get out of here though. Go do kid family stuff for the evening. You guys hanging out, or we all leaving? Or
Nah, I gotta go eat dinner.
Yeah, I gotta eat.
all right. I do have a shortish video. It's about 4 minutes from a channel called Elephant Graveyard, and it is Tim Pool's Audience Finally Revealed. That I figure if you haven't seen it, it's a fun one.
All
and
right.
you finally just like get a look at the human beings apparently that watch and believe words that come out of Tim Pool's face. Thank you guys. Subscribe to Bob of the Old Ways. Subscribe to Actual Fandom and all these other channels. They're all just listed right down there for you, just for you,
Right down there for your viewing pleasure.
And yeah, we appreciate you all, and we hope if you're seeing a heat wave like we are here, then so I can stay cool and hydrated.
Stay cool. Take it easy.
If you're in LA, stay cool and hydrated and not arrested.
Yes.
And don't get burned down. Fires everywhere.
Yeah, apparently
There is no LA left.
If you're in
It's
LA,
burned
you're
to the
already
ground.
dead.
Don't come here. Do not come. Do not come.
Yep. LA now stands for like ashes.
Land of ashes. That's what it means. Yeah.
All right. You guys are fun. It's great fapping with you every single time.
Always.
And have a great week. I don't know what the status of the shill is. But we'll keep you updated.
There may or may not be a shield. There will probably be a FAPcast next week.
Boom.
So praise Bill.
For which we will do prep
So,
work.
I don't know about you guys, but one mystery that's always interested me is, and I often think about this as I go about my daily tasks, but it's picturing the guys who listen to a certain guy. What I mean is, there are so many shows out there these days, and some of them are actually baffling.
Let me see. Hi, I'm Brad.
Just some of these shows, man, all I can wonder is who the hell listens to this? What do they look like? Try and picture their heads, their shapes. What strain of human are they? Not sure if you guys are familiar with the strains of human theory, but there are only around 84 strains of human. No, this is not a race thing. This is just categorizing of strains of human via basic observation. I believe science will one day tell us that these two are, in fact, of the same strain of human. I know another guy that is also of this strain, but he's someone I know in real life, and you guys wouldn't have heard of him. But trust me, guys, he's also of this strain. Maybe you know someone of this strain as well. Think about it. And look, if you disagree about my categorization, I don't care, because that's fine. If you've been blessed with a triple-digit IQ as I have, then I'd love to hear about your organization of people into strains in the comments below. But anyways, guys, I wish I could see the audiences of some of these shows. Like this guy.
They just watched him do a bunch of miracles, but they're still doubting him. That's us. We know
Yeah,
we're
that
with
is
God,
us.
but we still
Right
doubt
on.
him. Jesus looks at the waves and he goes, shh.
Or this guy.
Thinking about selling your business? Do you know what
Maybe.
is the difference between selling your business at a good time and a bad time? It could be the difference between 5 times multiple.
Or this guy.
No Jumper, the coolest podcast in the world, man.
Wow.
You already know what it is with the...
And you look at the views these things get, and all I can think about is, well, first of all, I think that's not enough views for something like this. No, no, no. What is happening out here, man? Everything sucks. That's just kind of what pops into my head. But then I think it's still actually a lot of guys, and who actually are these guys? And then I'm back into that endless rumination, wondering about the strains, and then sidebarring into strain theory again. It's exhausting, guys. I gotta find a way out of this mind loop. Well, good news, guys. The Lord has answered my prayers and gifted me with the most wonderful surprise today. I have just discovered that this guy here, Tim Cast, well, he hosted some kind of live in-person summit somewhere for his wonderful broadcast. And like I said, this guy's show is high up on my priority list when it comes to joyously imagining what the audience looks like. So I kind of clicked on this thing, not really expecting anything at all, when much to my surprise, only 3 minutes into the show. Very cheeky, by the way, for you guys to save this angle for the big reveal. That's great directing. But suddenly, without warning, the director of this wonderful stream cuts to a brand new surprise camera angle revealing the audience. There they are, guys. I mean, we don't deserve this, guys. I don't know. I feel unworthy of this gift, this insight. I love this. Look at them. They're even better than I imagined. Congratulations, guys. I think I do recognize a couple different strains there. I'm going to spend some time analyzing this for sure. What a gift. Such a relief to put to bed some of the stress of harboring that mystery. Life's stressful, guys, and every little bit helps. It's the chip-away approach that works. Gotta admit, it kind of changes the way I look at Tim Cast. I find him pretty cool, actually. I think I'm gonna start tuning in regularly. Might even support the show financially, dip into my slush fund. Yep. Tim Cast. Right on, well, alright. Well, guys, now when I think of this Tim Cast guy, I'm not gonna have to wonder anymore what the audience might look like. All that I'll think now is just...
Wonderful audience.